everyone, welcome back to Make and Make and Ignore all of the noise. We are a house that is forever busy. Normally, I would wait until the evening to make myself a little treat, but tonight is karate night for the kids, and we're at the dojo from 4:30 till 7:15. So, yeah, there's really no time for cake later. So we've already knocked out some schoolwork, and with Francine bringing all this rain, it's one of those gloomy days where I could just really use a little pick-me-up. So enter my chocolate chip mug cake keto style recipe. It's low carb, quick to make, and totally guilt free. Win-win. This rainy day also makes me think of Psalm 34:8. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Now, I'm not saying this mug cake is as good as the Lord, but it's definitely going to brighten my day. Plus, when you're sitting at karate for almost 3 hours, trust me, you need all the pick-me-ups that you can get. And if you're into low carb like I am, check out my blog at makeandmakeit.com for even more recipes. Now, let's make this cake before the rain turns my yard into a lake. Okay, so let's start working on this. So I have my trusty little recipe card right here that I always write my recipes on. And the first thing that we're gonna do is we are going to melt a tablespoon of butter. And I have it in my beautiful little Anna Green Gables mug here that my niece so lovingly gave me a few years back for Christmas, and I love it. But we're gonna melt this in the microwave. So I'm gonna give you a little tip about melting your butter in the microwave. So when I have a large amount of butter, like say a stick of butter or 4 tablespoons of butter, I'll put it in a bowl, I'll put it in the microwave, but I do it for 3 minutes on power 3. And the reason why I do it at the power 3 is so that it does not pop the butter all on the inside of my microwave. And because I don't want to have to do all that extra cleaning in my microwave. So that's the reason why I do that. So for the instance, for this one right here, I'm actually going to do it in 1 minute increments just to make sure that it melts the butter, but it doesn't over melt the butter. So I'm going to do it in 1 minute on power 3. Okay, so 2 minutes at power 3 was the perfect amount for this. I just did it at 1 increments at a time. So we're going to move on to the next step of doing this. This thing is so simple, and my husband loves it as well. And so it's something that I can throw together quick when we get done with dinner and we're sitting around and then we're just like, oh, I kind of like something sweet. So it's just something that I just simply throw together and make us happy, I guess, for a split moment. All right, the next thing that it calls for is 1 egg. Now here's the thing, I don't put my egg in next. Because I warmed my butter up in my mug, I don't want to cook my egg immediately. So I go ahead and I do the next step, which is the almond flour. So you got 3 tablespoons of almond flour that you put inside. Half a teaspoon of baking powder. And then it says 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of brown swerve. Okay, then we're going to do a half a teaspoon of vanilla, and I'm actually in need of making more vanilla, and I have some making because I'm just not a fan of the store-bought vanilla. Okay, and then I mix this little bit here together. Just go ahead and kind of get it incorporated a little bit before I add my egg. That way it kind of helps cool down that butter a little bit so that it doesn't cook my egg. Now, yes, I know you should probably use something else other than my measuring spoons, but anywho, it's what I use. Crack this egg and stick it in here. All right, and then we're gonna mix that egg up in there really, really well. Make sure we get it nice and incorporated. So the next thing I'm gonna tell you is about the chocolate chips. So it calls for 1.5 tablespoons of chocolate chips. And I'm gonna tell you something that I have found out by doing this is that I personally love Lily's chocolate chips. They're so expensive though. I mean, you're looking at $6+ just for a bag of chocolate chips, but they are clean and they're really, really good. And so this was my only option just recently when I went to the grocery store. It was the first thing that I had and I needed some. But I noticed that when I put Lily's in there, they're heavier, and so they all just sink to the bottom. And when I buy just the simple Kroger chocolate chips, they would do exactly what they were supposed to, where they kind of stay inside the mug and just be in between the cake area. And that's kind of what you're looking for. So what I'll do is I'll drop them on the top and then they just kind of sink a little bit down in the bottom. It says to drop them in there and then to stir it in. You can do that, but I recommend that you drop them in there and then just let the cake cook up over the chocolate chips. And I don't know, I just seem to think that I have a little bit better success with that. And these chocolate chips don't seem to sink to the bottom like the Lily's chocolate chips do. So your preference, whatever you want to do, but I mean, this cake is super yummy and I don't know, I'm for it all. But anyways, I usually will eyeball how many chocolate chips that I want in it, but for your sake, I will use my trusty little spoon here and I will measure this out so that way it's kind of accurate. So we got 1.5 tablespoons. And then, like I said, you can stir it up in there or you can just drop it down in and just let it go. So this is what it's looking like. I don't know if you can see that or not, wherever the camera's at. There it is. This is what it's looking like. So it's already kind of sinking in there. So we're gonna put it in the microwave for 1 minute, 30 seconds, and it's completely done. It's done. So I'm gonna show you. So while it's cooking, it's gonna scare you because they tell you to use a larger mug than this, and this is just a smaller mug, but literally it was coming up like this in the microwave, and so you think it's going to just like overflow, but let it do its thing because it's perfectly fine. This right here is already starting to go down, and the chocolate chips are gonna be on the inside of it. Now, I don't have any whipped cream, and usually I do. I usually try to keep some whipped cream on hand, but I do have some caramel syrup, which I'm gonna put on there, my skinny syrup. Look, you can put all sorts of stuff on this. You can put more chocolate chips on the top of it with some Cool Whip. You can leave it just like it is. Just add the caramel on top. It's completely up to you what you wanna do. I love caramel, and so putting caramel with a chocolate chip mug cake is like my favorite, but you can also do a chocolate syrup, a keto chocolate syrup. If you want to put a keto chocolate syrup on there, it's completely up to you. The possibilities are endless. Look, here it is. And can you see the steam coming off of it? It's super duper hot. So it's just like a cake. And then the chocolate, it's hard for me to show you that. The chocolate is there. See the chocolate on the inside? It's just kind of in there. And like I said, add as many chocolate chips as you want. Stir it in if you prefer to stir it in. Experiment with it, because what works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. You might find a better way to actually do this that I don't know about. And if you do, let me know. I am not beyond trying to perfect things and make them better. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy my cake on this yucky, rainy day. Thank you, Francine. I really appreciate all of this wonderful rainy weather. I'm actually really thankful for it because we've had barely any rain for quite some time and it's been killing all of my plants. In the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Make sure that you go like, subscribe, and put a thumbs up for me. And then I will see you the next time here on Making with who knows what kind of video that it will be down the road. Remember, I'm always praying for you, even if I don't know who you are. God bless.